All right, welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. It is Wellness Wednesday. Of course, Kelly and I feeling a little bit better. Chris under the weather today, so Kelly is nice enough to come in and fill in for him. But we got to talk to Mr. EJ Raven, who is asking me, Jen, are you taking your emergencies? Jen, are you doing this? And yes, EJ, I am.
She's drinking her water.
I drink so much water now. Good. I tell you, I really do. And emergencies,
what have you noticed difference by drinking or by increasing water consumption?
Huge difference. I feel better. My digestive system works a lot better, and I don't know, I just all around feel better.
Good for you.
You really do.
A little factoid for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
A lot of Americans get their intake of fluids through soda pop or caffeinated drinks. Caffeine is a diuretic, which actually pulls more fluid. So if you drink a cup of coffee, it actually takes this much fluid plus more out of your body. So you're actually in the hole as far as fluid intake for the day, or your Diet Coke or any caffeinated drink. So people believe, well, I'm getting fluid because I'm drinking my Coke. They're actually going in the hole and becoming more and more dehydrated. And so if you're going to drink caffeine, you need to increase your fluid intake to offset that imbalance. And,
that's good to know.
I know quite a few people who are Diet Coke lovers. So Lisa Ray, she's my beautician. I was talking to her yesterday. If you're watching, you got to come back on that Diet Coke.
You know, or at least replace it. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything beautiful about Diet Coke. I don't think it's going to make you live a healthier, longer life.
Yeah.
If you love it, life goes on. But maybe at least get some fluid in there that's good for you.
There you go.
Offset it with some water. At least allow your body to do its job, because if you're in chronic dehydration, you're going to be in chronic pain, you're going to be in chronic fatigue, you're going to have lots of these chronic issues showing up in your body because it can't function in that dehydrated state.
It makes sense. I had a roommate in college. She went everywhere with 2 liters of Diet Coke, and you know, you hardly ever saw her drink water. It was just people get so addicted to it.
Some people don't know that clear stuff's actually good for you, that water.
And you know, we actually have cases of the clear bottles of water, and you know, really everywhere we go, we take them with us in the car, and we usually have so many water bottles. We try to label them so we know who's what. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, this morning I brought some great ideas for us, all right? Just have a fantastic neighbor who just passed away at age 99.
That's amazing,
He's
EJ.
wonderful. He lived this beautiful life, has a wonderful family. He's out shoveling the snow and working in his yard at 99. We used to live across the street from him when he was 97 or 6, and if he had the chance, he would get up early in the morning and be shoveling his driveway, and it was a steep little driveway, and he's out there shoveling away, you know? And he just lived such a great life that it really inspired me about what's possible. My belief is, if there's one individual out there skiing at age 80 and looking fantastic, then it can't be the age thing. You with me? Because if it was age, then everyone at 80 shouldn't be skiing or should be skiing. It's more lifestyle. It's more what drives the individual, how the person lives. And so there's a few ideas that exist around aging. And I think this is so important for you and I as consumers and of the healthcare system and as drivers of our bus of health and life to make decisions and distinctions in our thinking around this. Is that some ideas believe that we are born, we start out here, and we just kind of gently decline year after year after year until we finally call it good. Other ideas that I support more say, you know what, we're born, we live this fantastic life, we have some ups and downs through life, and that's all right, but we live until we die. And there's studies that prove that that can be the case, and that's actually more of the norm than we may have been brought up to believe. Cache County, Utah has the greatest longevity of any county in the United States.
Really?
Cache County?
Yeah.
Really?
It's a significant increase. So they did a big 10-year study. And from the study, they found 3 findings on how these people lived so long. They were connected. They stayed connected with their church and community involved. They stayed active. Many of them still farmed into their 80s, showed these little cute ladies dragging bales of hay around in their 80s. And then they ate clean diets. A lot of them had gardens. They ate a variety of fruits and colorful things out of their gardens. And that was the 3 findings they came up with. But the other part that I think is even more significant is how these people passed away. That many of them, the #1 complaint for the elderly in this study wasn't pain. It wasn't arthritis. It wasn't some of these negatives that sometimes we have associated with aging. The #1 complaint was eyesight. They couldn't see the newspaper.
My eyesight's going in my 40s.
But in these later years, they're still fantastic, still living and enjoying, and their biggest complaint isn't that something hurts, is that they can't see as well as they'd like to.
That's amazing. They just need a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Simple solution.
And it makes me think, well, crud, if that's their biggest complaint, they're probably living a pretty darn good life, you know? And so these ideas that exist, again, that we go downhill, I think aren't very founded and don't have to be that way.
How many people do you hear saying that? I mean, I'm going downhill.
Correct. It must be my age.
Yeah.
And those beliefs
they kind of expect that to happen.
Yeah.
Correct. They start to create our reality. Don't you think that we start to believe that, well, it's getting worse and maybe, you know, and we start to almost create this, well, this is what it's going to be like, and when we believe that, we see that. And so another idea that exists is genetics, that says, you know, you and I are made up of our genes, and that's what drives our health. One client I was talking with the other day said his doctor shared with him that 90% of your health is driven by genes, or genetics, is what 90% controls. And the other 10% is where healthcare comes in and tries to influence. And I think that's a terrible picture, because if only 10% of us is influenceable, how much effort are we going to put into it?
Right, you don't have much motivation really to take care of yourself.
10%, why do I need to, give me that, pass the Diet Coke over, you know?
Your father had heart disease, oh, I'm going to have heart disease, and you just kind of accept,
correct,
I'm going to eat all that red meat and fat. And
it doesn't really matter. But that's not the case, because a newer study coming out from Yale said, you know what, 25% of our health is genetic driven, and 75% is lifestyle. I like that one much more.
Yeah.
It's a much newer, much more broad study, I believe, and it gives us much more hope to saying, heck, 25%, that's not that big a deal, you know? It's 75% that I can influence, and that's driven by my choices and my thinking and my, you know, my lifestyle. And if I make changes here, I can get changes wherever I want. My hair's blonde for a reason. I mean, genetics plays an influence in our health, for sure, but there's nothing we can do about it, so why would we focus on it? Why would we spend energy where we can't do anything?
Right.
And
it is amazing how active people are in Park City, though. So many people move here for the active lifestyle. They're out biking and running and swimming, and it is amazing how a lot of people in Park City really do think differently about.
Correct. I talked with a couple just the other day in my office, and they're like, the reason we're here is we want the Park City lifestyle. We want to live like that. And I think so many people are already ahead of the game and making great choices. I would just encourage each of us to make sure that we're making the choices that get us where we want to go, and making sure that we realize that, hey, there's a lot of ideas out there that may not be appropriate for us. Maybe the mainstream idea that we get older and age and go downhill, maybe we should let go of that and focus on this. Hey, 25% genetics, 75% I control. I'm moving forward. I want to enjoy.
I'm going to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I want to enjoy every minute of it. I want to do everything I can to get to that point, you know, and when I go, but I want to live until I go, versus
Absolutely.
give up at, you know, retirement and start moving down.
Right. You know, exactly. My grandparents, you know, were farmers in Pennsylvania, and they both lived, you know, full lives, healthy, into, you know, well into their 80s, and, you know, but eating, you know, their own meat and living off the land, and just so active compared to like all the choices of junk food we have, and going through, you know, fast food drive-throughs, and that are some people's choices.
Some of our lifestyle that doesn't fit so well. In that Cache County study, one other finding that was really significant and interesting, I thought, was that when people did pass away, it wasn't from chronic disease. Typically what they saw is people live these healthy, wonderful lives, the vast majority, and then 2 weeks later, you know, they were gone. They got pneumonia or the flu or whatever it is, you know what I mean? They fell. Something created a problem, and then they just declined and were gone in just a few short weeks. It wasn't years and years and years of decline. And so I really think that study provides a huge amount of hope to you and I, and to hopefully the viewers, saying, wow, why not? Why couldn't it be this fantastic, beautiful, and enjoy it until it's time to get out of here?
And it should be motivating. Seeing somebody that's 99 out shoveling, you know, like your neighbor.
That's inspiring.
I mean, that's inspiring to think, okay, there's a possibility. I mean, you can if you take care of yourself and you know, live the right lifestyle.